Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday and happy So What Day. Thanksgiving is next week, so I've got some Thanksgiving placemats hanging behind me, and I'm going to share the process for making those and the beautiful embroidery, which I'm noticing is really difficult to see right now because it's hanging behind me. So I'm going to show you some photos of that a little bit closer up later on. That's going to be our little bonus project for today because the project I'm sharing with you is so quick and easy. You can complete this, dare I say, in about an hour and have a new garment, a great gift to give somebody, and you can personalize it so many different ways. So we will get to our Sleigh applique sweatshirt in just a moment. But in the meantime, I'm going to share some updates with you. We're going to talk about some upcoming events and let me know where you're watching from. Because as long as you're commenting here today, all you have to do is leave a comment in the chat or the comments below. Give me those great emojis. Somehow engage with the post today, and you will be eligible to win a great gift from Sulky. So today's gift from Sulky is a pack of our amazing Felty embroidery felt. This is actually what I'm going to use in the Sleigh sweatshirt applique, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with Felty because I talk about it all the time. It is great stuff. So this is the gift for one lucky viewer who is out there watching and commenting and engaging with the post. You also need to be sure to like our Facebook page if you're watching there, or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching there. That's how I can contact you if you are today's winner. All right, so before we get to the Felty and the project and all of that, I do want to give an update because our New Year's Eve event is, it's coming up. I know that we're not even at Christmas yet. We're not even at the holiday season really yet, even though, it seems to be here. There's Christmas music, holiday music all over the place, all over the stores, all kinds of decorations to be had. So, we're getting in the spirit, right? But make sure you are registered for our New Year's Eve sew along so that you get all the reminder posts when we're going to go live. And also, just like all of our events, even if you can't attend live, because this is a 4-hour event, it starts at noon on New Year's Eve. We sew together for the afternoon, and then you have a great bag when you're all done that you can take out on the town New Year's Eve night, if that's what you choose to do. Or you can simply feel super accomplished that you've already made something for 2025. And we all need that, confidence boost, right? At any rate, if you can't join for the whole 4-hour event, don't worry, because as with all of our events, this turns into an on-demand, start anytime video once our live event ends. So as long as you're registered, you can head to the event page, watch the video in its entirety, rewind, fast forward, review anything you might have missed the day of the event, and it's yours to keep forever. Once you register for the sew along, you will get the pattern for this featured bag. The featured bag this year is called Jessica. However, we have taken a twist on the Jessica bag and turned it into the Dutton bag for New Year's Eve. So that means it has this great lace overlay that's framed in faux leather by Sally Tomato. This overlay is what we're going to create ahead of time. So once you register for the event, you will get the embroidery design files, which include a freestanding lace piece for your bag. And I want to reiterate that this piece is optional. So if you don't want to showcase lace on your bag, you can showcase something else on the exterior inside of that frame. Let me just show you a couple more. Here are all the Dutton bags in the brown colorway, which I believe is called Cowboy Chic, and then the red and black colorway. So beautiful. I I don't know how you're all going to decide which one you want to make on New Year's Eve, but at any rate, if you don't want to do this lace overlay, we are also including a flat design for this piece. So you can sew this directly onto a piece of canvas, a piece of cork, a piece of other fabric, and then you can showcase that inside of your bag frame. Or you can also choose the design or applique or quilting, or just feature a fussy cut fabric print inside of that frame. Also, you can omit the frame altogether and cut a full piece for your bag exterior. So we're going to talk a lot about all those options on New Year's Eve, but I wanted to just let you know because I have gotten some feedback from people who, I don't know how to describe it, but they seem a little bit disappointed that we have this Western chic theme. So this is our 5th New Year's Eve sew along with Sally Tomato. And each year we go with a theme that's trending or that we are seeing, in the upcoming trends for the upcoming year. And with Yellowstone being such a hot show, and the last season of it is just launched last week. So we kind of went along with the Yellowstone theme. That's why it's called the Dutton bag. But it's not necessarily, a Western style bag. I mean, if you're not somebody who goes out and wears cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, you could still rock this bag. I mean, it's so awesome. And I love, love, love this lace overlay treatment. The red that you're seeing in the red version, that's all thread. All of it is just thread. Isn't that amazing? All right, so I love this bag. I love the take on this bag. Along with your embroidery design files, you also get these cute little charms that we will create on New Year's Eve. There's a flower, there's a leaf. So there's a lot to be had. You can make this little flower into some dangly earrings, all kinds of options. So you get a lot of design files when you register for the event. And you also get the Jessica bag pattern by Sally Tomato and the Dutton hack pattern. So it's kind of like an addition to that pattern. And you'll learn all about it on New Year's Eve. And once you register, you have immediate access to our event page, which is where you will go on the day of the event. Don't worry, you'll get an email with a link that'll take you right there. And with your immediate access, you'll get a full video tutorial for making your lace piece in advance. So this is why it's really important to pre-register or register in advance for this event, because we want you to make your lace pieces in advance. As you can imagine, this takes a super long time to stitch out. And if you want to make two to have one on both exterior portions of your bag, you're going to need to make this in advance, follow all the directions for how to rinse it out and block it and all of these great things. You will feel so accomplished. Here's what it looks like when the stabilizer is still attached. And then here's what it looks like when you rinse it all away. So at any rate, you'll get the whole tutorial for hooping this, stitching it, rinsing it out, prepping it for the bag so that you have it on hand when we go live on New Year's Eve. So make sure you are registered. Let's see, I hear lots of people saying, oh, living in Kansas, that bag fits in perfectly. Love it. They're both gorgeous. Both colors are so cute. Very versatile size. I agree. Where do we get the kit? So the kits are fulfilled by Sally Tomato, our partners for this event. So once you register, all that information is there for you. Links to the kit, all that good stuff. 2 colorways of the kit, as I mentioned. Marcia says, I couldn't choose, so I just got both. I feel ya. There's also really great pricing on the kit. I mean, as you can imagine, this kit is made out of all faux leather. There's all this hardware to make your cute little tassels, your zipper, your handle that comes off if you want to replace it with a different handle later on, or, you can make it your own. All of this and your thread and your stabilizer that you need, everything's included in the kit. and it's at an unbelievable special price from Sally Tomato. They are saying that you need to purchase your kit by December 1st to guarantee that it arrives by New Year's Eve, because I know you're all going to want to sew along. Normally our events are not sew-alongs, because as you can imagine, when we do an hour-long webcast event, there's no way we can get through an entire bag or an entire quilt or entire, project like that in an hour with everything that we want to tell you. So for those events, we really focus on tips and on the most difficult part of the pattern or the project that we are showing you. And then on our longer format events, such as our sessions, let's say, our sessions are all start anytime. Multiple videos are included with those sessions, lots of ancillary materials, all sorts of things. So those are work your way on your own, with lots of video support, Q&A that goes directly to Sulky support staff while you are working your way through those sessions. And then we have these New Year's Eve sew-alongs. These are 4-hour events because we really want you to make this bag in real time. But if you can't keep up, if we're going too fast, don't worry about it. We do take some breaks to have people catch up. And as I mentioned, then you'll have that video that you can refer to if you get stuck on a part, or if we're going too fast and maybe you need to rethread your machine or something like this happens throughout the event. Don't worry, sit back and relax and watch. And then you can always go back and review that video. So it's a really, really great value. You get over $43 in patterns and designs with purchase of your sew along event, not to mention the full video tutorial. So this is an amazing deal. And then, of course, the deal on the kit as well. All right, let's see. Crystal says, I'm registered. Can't wait for New Year's Eve. Oh, great question. What size hoop do you need for the lace? Thank you for asking that, because this is a very large piece. It's bigger than my head, as you can see. So we have 2 design files you can choose from. You can either choose the 6x10 hooping or the 7x12 hooping. So you do need at least a 6x10 hoop to stitch out your lace. But as I mentioned, we also have a flat design you can choose from, and the charms fit in a 4x4 hoop. So if you do have hoop limitations, we tried to include options so that no matter what, you can embroider something for your bag. So I hope that's helpful for you. And those with larger hoops, you're good to go. And if you're in the market for a larger hoop, check out our magnetic hoops at sulky.com, because yes, you can make this in a magnetic hoop. I actually made this sample in a magnetic hoop just to test it out. So if you are looking to add a larger hoop to your sewing arsenal, let's say, I would definitely go with a magnetic hoop because you will have such versatility with it. And you can head to sulky.com, check out our magnetic hoops. We have them available for all sorts of machine brands and makes and models. So what you do is you head to the magnetic hoop page. You will use the first drop-down menu. You'll select your machine brand. Then the next one, you will select your model, and then it will show you the available hoops for your machine. And I would buy the largest one that you can afford, the largest one available for your machine, because again, this will open up so many possibilities for what you can embroider, and of course, how large of a motif you can stitch out. These Thanksgiving placemats that I'm going to show you today, this is another really large scale embroidery. So you need one of those mega hoops for it. So great thing to put on your wish list. I feel like as sewers, or especially those of us moms out there, sometimes no one knows what to get you for the holidays, right? They think you have everything. It's a struggle, Tell your friends and family that you want a mega magnetic hoop for Christmas or for the holiday that you celebrate. And maybe they can all go in on it for you, and you will end up with something you really want, you get a lot of use out of, and it really just expands your creativity with what you can create. So put that on your wish list for this holiday season. All right. Lots of people saying they're in the rain, they're in the weather. I hope everyone is staying safe and warm. All right. Sharon says, my New Year's kit is on the way. All right. Love it. Everyone could really use the Felty as well. Perfect. Okay. So and Marcia, I see your question about receiving your kit. So direct all of your kit questions to Sally Tomato. I know that they were doing kind of a pre-order on the kits, and then they were going to kind of send them out in one fell swoop, if I'm remembering this correctly. So if you do have questions on your kit, you can track it through Sally Tomato, reach out to their customer service. They're really, really great about getting back to you. All right. So also wanted to mention our India tour with Craft Tours is going to be coming to a close the first week of December. So if you are interested in our India tour, where we are going to focus on a lot of embroidery during this tour, we're going to be focusing on a lot of metallic gold embroideries, both by hand and machine. We are going to see the Taj Mahal at sunrise. There's just so many things packed into this tour. Check it out on our page on the Craft Tours website. I linked directly to our page so you can see our trips. You'll find our India tour there, as well as our tour to Greece in the end of May, beginning of June. This is going to be absolutely incredible. It's really filling up fast already. I believe it's the only Greece tour that they have through Craft Tours. So that's our Sulky tour to Greece. I cannot wait for this trip. It's going to be incredible. So if this is a bucket list destination for you, definitely come on the Sulky Greece tour. Check it out on our Craft Tours page and sign up today. You can get on a payment plan with them as well, which makes it a little bit more manageable to afford as we get closer and closer to this amazing tour. All right, check that out. So let's get to today's project, which is our Sleigh applique sweatshirt. So I have been seeing sweatshirts like this all over social media. They might say Merry or Fa La La, all kinds of cute little holiday sayings, right? With this collegiate type font. Super popular. I'm seeing it everywhere. Now, the other thing I want to mention with this sweatshirt is, the slang these days with the kids, right? I feel so old saying that. Some of it is so beyond me, okay? Sometimes I have no idea what my children are saying, but I'm trying to, get with the times here. So my girls say sleigh all the time. You may, have heard this term, right? So I thought a sleigh sweatshirt, a punny take on this little slang word, would be really cute for the holidays. All right, so you can choose the word that you prefer for your applique sweatshirt. But I think this just dresses up a basic sweatshirt. It is so easy to do and personalize based on the, word or words that you want to display for the holidays. Completely personable or personalizing. Easy to personalize. And sweatshirts are super comfy. Great for the holidays. Great for a pajama set. Or you can dress it up with some holiday jewelry, wear it with some nice jeans or leggings and some boots. So it really, can be dressed down or dressed up, and a great gift for someone for the holidays as well. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to use Felty, Sulky Felty, as your applique fabric, because Felty is polyester. which means you can wash it, you can fuse it, you can add a bunch of thread and stitches to it, and it doesn't pucker or buckle. I might have made a new word there, puckle. Anyways, doesn't do any of those things because it's manufactured in a way to accept a lot of needle penetrations and a lot of thread. You know, sometimes if you're working with a plush fabric like felt or fleece or the like, when you add a bunch of stitches to it, there isn't any room for the thread in the structure of that fiber. So that's why it's puckling, I want to say. That's why it's puckering or buckling around the edges of your embroidery or decorative stitching, because there's just no room for that thread to fit into the weave of the fabric or the non-weave, so to speak. But with Felty, I don't know how they do it, but it's somehow manufactured to accept all that thread without, any of those problems happening. So, love it for machine embroidery. It's absolutely perfect for in the hoop projects. It has a great feel to it. It feels like luxurious wool felt, but at a fraction of the cost because it's polyester. So this is our holiday assortment of Felty, which is our giveaway today for one lucky viewer who is watching and commenting and liking us on Facebook, subscribing to our YouTube channel, all those things. One lucky viewer will win this holiday assortment of Felty. That's right. Thank you, Sulky. And we also have other Felty assortments. You can get a rainbow pack. You can get a neutrals pack, a heather pack, and we also have them by the roll. So if you want to make a ton of Sleigh sweatshirts for your family photo this year, everybody gets a sweatshirt maybe with a different phrase on it. That would be so cute for a holiday card. You can grab up the assortment of Felty, or like, let's just say a whole roll of red Felty. Everybody gets red applique on their sweatshirt. You get the idea. So lots of options there, tons of colors to choose from. Also, to pair with the Felty, we are going to use 50 weight cotton thread by Sulky. This is our quilting holiday assortment. It's called a quilting assortment because this thread is so great for piecing and quilting, but it's also great for this kind of applique when you want the stitching to kind of disappear into the Felty. Okay, it's going to be nice and strong, and our Felty isn't going to go anywhere. We're going to be able to wash it, wear it a million times, but I want the thread to just kind of melt into the Felty. I don't want the thread to be the star. If you want the thread to be the star, you can go with a heavier weight cotton thread, like one of our 30 weight cotton threads or a 30 weight blendables thread. This is one of our blendables thread where it has lots of different colors. Every 2.5 to 5 inches, there's a different color or color theme, if you will, across the length of the thread. So it's randomly dyed. You don't get those, repeating patterns that are so predictable along the edges of your applique when you're using the blendables. No other thread is like this. So you could use that if you do want the thread to be the star or be able to be seen a little bit better. But I'm going to showcase the 50 weight cotton thread so that it does kind of blend into that Felty. And this is a great thread pack to pair with that holiday Felty assortment. So if you're grabbing this up, I would grab this up too. You can get all 6 of these threads in this assortment for less than $15. And then you have all these great threads you can use for your upcoming holiday makes. I hope you're all making things for the holidays already. But if not, don't worry. We have a bunch of so what's coming up that hopefully will inspire you for a lot of holiday makes. All right, so along with that, we also need Perfect Applique Fusible Web. Sulky Perfect Applique is a super lightweight fusible web, but it's also very strong. You almost won't even be able to tell that you have fused it to your Felty. That's how lightweight it is. The only way you'll be able to tell is you'll have a color change. You'll be able to see a little bit of the white fusible once you put it onto the Felty. But it's just so lightweight. It's great for a garment because when we fuse an applique to a garment, we don't want to walk around with this like bulletproof vest on. We want our sweatshirt to still have a nice drape to it, still, be able to see our body shape, body type, whatever. You get the idea. We just don't want it to be this emblem, that's bulletproof. I don't know how else to describe it. So that perfect applique is great for this. It's going to flow with the sweatshirt. You're not even going to be able to feel that there's fusible there. Also, you can wash it a million times and it still retains its fusible property. It is, dare I say, permanent. So it's great, great stuff. And that's what we're going to use for our applique. Now, if you do want to use the word Sleigh on the sweatshirt that you are creating, you can grab up this free template on the Sulky blog. And I linked directly to it in the description of today's post. If you're not seeing all the products and links to our craft tours trips and links to sign up for New Year's Eve, all of that good stuff, click on that little see more or more button. The whole description will pop out. You'll find all those live links that you can click on over to and find what I'm talking about. So this is our Sleigh applique that you can get at sulky.com, or on the Sulky blog. And I cut mine, and there's a purpose for that, and I'll share that with you momentarily. But this is what it's going to look like. Print this out if you want to use this phrase. If you want to say something like merry or fa la la or a different phrase altogether, maybe love for Valentine's Day coming up, something like that, then you can type out the word in your word processing program and size the letters how big or small that you want them on your sweatshirt and print out the letters that you need. I love this. I keep calling it a collegiate style font. It's like a varsity font, I really like that for the fuzziness of the Felty and just the whole vibe of the sweatshirt. But you could certainly go with a basic block letter font and print that out on your own. So here we have our printed out template, and you'll notice there are two lines as well. There's this outer line and then an inner line. So if you want a little bit slimmer, word to display, you can use the inner line for your template, or you can use the outer line if you want a little bit fatter font or wider font. All right, so you have options with this template. So I just kind of printed it out, put it on my sweatshirt to kind of make sure it fit across the front of the sweatshirt. And I can always space my letters closer together or farther apart. So you don't have to, this is really just giving you inspiration for a curvature. I kind of like it a little bit curved. I think that's cute rather than just straight across on your sweatshirt. It kind of helps give it a little bit more shape too, and a little bit of, style to the applique. So you can follow that lower edge curve for placing your letters. That's why my template's cut apart. You can space them a little bit farther apart. So you get the idea. You don't have to follow this template to a T is what I'm getting at. So now we are going to prepare our applique. So we want to trace the mirror image of our phrase or of each letter. So I like to use my light box for this. I actually use a daylight wafer light box. We have these at sulky.com. I believe there's 2 different sizes of them. You can also get a really great cutting mat that you can use with your light box as well. You could place the cutting mat over the top and cut out pieces as well, which kind of eliminates some of the tracing that you might do for other projects. But at any rate, I love my light box. It's very, very thin. Another thing that you should put on your holiday wish list this year, because they are a little bit pricey. It's an investment, couple $150, something like this, 175. But look how thin this is. And look how I can just store it, right alongside of my desk and always have it at the ready. Absolutely love that. It also has, as you can see, it has some markings on the side of it, which are helpful for, cutting out quilt blocks and other appliques. Also, the light is fully adjustable, so you can adjust the brightness. And then when you go to turn it back on next time, it will go right back to that brightness setting that you just set. So it's a really, really awesome tool for your sewing and crafting and creating. And if you don't have a light box yet, I would look to that daylight wafer one at sulky.com. I use mine all the time. I really didn't think I was going to use it that much, but I love it. My kids love it too, and I have to keep it away from them. But at any rate, we need to transfer the mirror image of our chosen words or chosen letters onto our fusible web. So you're going to trace the mirror image, onto the paper side of the fusible web, not the fusible side. So the smooth side, not the rough side. And once we have all of that traced, then we're going to fuse our perfect applique to the wrong side of the Felty. And I get this question all the time, is there a right and wrong side of Felty? And there actually is, but it's extremely hard to decipher. So I really wouldn't worry about it too much. Choose a side as your right side and go with it, okay? The only way you'll really be able to tell the right from the wrong side is the wrong side is a little bit more matted looking than the right side. But it's, again, extremely hard to decipher, and I wouldn't worry about it too much. You just want to make sure that all of your letters are cut on the same side. So pick a right side and go with it. We're going to fuse our mirror image appliques or applique piece to the wrong side of our Felty, medium to low temp iron, because this is our first fusing and we don't want to, overly melt the fusible glue, okay? Because we now, we need to then fuse this again. So here I have it cut out on a piece of Felty and I'm fusing it in place. Also important, when you're fusing, make sure you're pressing the iron down, then lifting it up and moving it and pressing it down again. Don't glide over the top of your fusible web as though you're ironing a shirt. So that's why we say fuse instead of iron. That's the difference between those two terms. If we're saying iron, that means go ahead, iron it just like you're ironing a shirt or curtains or what have you. If we say fuse, that means press it down, lift it up, move it over, press it down. You get the idea. If we were to iron over this, it could move or shift the fabric underneath the fusible web, and it could also shift the fusible web. And we don't want excess glue kind of seeping out beyond our applique edges. We want it all to stay there so that we have our nice permanent bond when we do our second fuse. So carefully fuse our fusible web in place, and then we're going to cut out all of our letters. So I highly suggest you get yourself, if you don't already have one, a really nice, sharp, small pair of scissors so you can get into all those little nooks and cranny areas inside that G and the S, and you can get these nice and precise. All right. So once we have that, you can see I've got my fusible side up, so it's the mirror image. And now we are going to peel off that paper backing. You see how it's really hard to even tell on the Felty that fusible is attached? It's the lightest weight fusible web. I love it. So you're going to remove the paper backing of all of your letters, and then we're going to place them on the sweatshirt. Now, this is probably what's going to take the most time for you because some sweatshirts are, you'll either have this sort of dolman sleeve or you'll have an inset sleeve. All sweatshirts are kind of different, right? So I highly suggest try on the sweatshirt, use your template that you now have, right? And kind of audition it. Okay, so look at yourself in the mirror while you're wearing the sweatshirt, kind of place the letters where you want them. And you can either pin it and then remove the sweatshirt so you know where you want to place your letters, or you can also spray the back of your template with KK2000 and press it onto the sweatshirt. You could even cut each letter apart of your template and place them, and then take your sweatshirt off and then replace those templates with your Felty applique pieces. That way, you're not, creating a sweatshirt where, oops, I put the lettering right across this part of my chest. Now that's what everybody's going to look at, right? Or, it's just a little bit off with the curve, and now you fused it, and now what are you going to do, right? So measure, measure, measure. Make sure you have this where you want it before you go and fuse it down. All right. So here's how I used that template and why my template is cut apart. So I really wanted that nice curvature, but it's kind of hard to just eyeball. So what I did was I just cut my template along the lower edge of all of those letters, and I used that bottom edge of the template to kind of place my applique letters along that curved line. So you could use, any kind of curved, object that you might have hanging around if you want this kind of curved effect, or you can utilize the template for that too. But after I did this, I thought my letters were a little too close together. So after I got the curve down, then I just kind of separated them a little bit, starting from the middle and working my way out. Then once you have it exactly how you want it, now is the time for your second fuse to fuse your Felty to the sweatshirt. So I do want to make sure that you're using a sweatshirt that can withstand the heat of your iron. You don't want to use, like a Sherpa sweatshirt, something like that has, acrylic blend or something on the outside of the sweatshirt. So make sure it's able to be fused without harming the sweatshirt fabric. The Felty can be fused. Again, you need to use a low to medium temp iron. You don't want to transfer any iron marks to the Felty. So just be, light-handed with it, and you'll get a great permanent bond. And yes, you could also use a pressing cloth. Great suggestion, Denise. Thank you for that as well. All right. So once we have this fused in place, we're going to go ahead and stitch our appliques. You can choose any decorative stitch of your choice. I chose a blanket stitch for my applique, and I made it a little bit narrower and shorter than just the standard stitch. When you go to select the blanket stitch applique, it'll come in as a standard length and width. So I played with that a little bit to make it a little bit smaller, so that when I'm going around all of these, edges, my blanket stitches would not intersect. So I made my blanket stitch a little bit narrower and shorter. And the setting that I chose is in that blog post as well. So you can follow that if that's the look that you want. You could choose any decorative stitch, or you could straight stitch just inside of the outer edges of each letter. So have fun with it. Make it as decorative or as sort of plain as you want. And again, I used the 50 weight cotton thread here so that it would really blend in. I'll blow this picture up so you can see it's really hard to see that blanket stitch. See how the straight stitch is along the sweatshirt edge, and then the stitch that's biting into the Felty, you can hardly even see it. All right. And I love the texture that the Felty gives the sweatshirt as well. It really pops off of the surface and is like three-dimensional. Love that look. All right, so once you have it all stitched, that's it. Your sweatshirt's done. I mean, it couldn't be simpler. Super fun. You could even put, everyone's, let's say you're the March family, right? So I could put March on everyone's sweatshirt and have a super cute holiday photo, and then everybody can wear their sweatshirts beyond Christmas or the holiday season, and get a lot of use out of it. And as I mentioned previously, you could choose the word love or family or thankful and make this for, Thanksgiving attire, something like this. So you get the idea. And then here we have the Sleigh sweatshirt modeled by one of my children. It's a little bit big on her, but she loves it. So there you have it. I get the seal of approval from, a teenager. So I will take that. I will take that. All right. So as I mentioned too, I have a bonus project for everybody today because first of all, let me address some questions here. Sorry, Lisa's saying, how can I buy the thread set? All right, so you can grab up this 50 weight cotton quilting holiday sampler at sulky.com. And as I mentioned, it's less than $15 and you get all 6 spools of these great holiday colors. I'm also going to talk about a different type of thread with this bonus project. Super hard to see it hanging behind me because I just don't have the right lighting today, but here it is close up. So I made a set of 6 Thanksgiving themed placemats a couple years ago, and it's one of our most visited blog posts at Sulky, at the Sulky blog. So I wanted to share it with you in case y'all missed it, or to give you a little refresher because this was a couple of years ago, but really it stands the test of time. So I break these out every Thanksgiving, and they feature this really great, I think it's called Thanksgiving Folk Art. I linked to it in the description of today's post, and it's a collection by Designs by Juju. And it's really meant for, I guess, a larger quilt or table runner, but I thought it was the perfect thing to frame in a placemat because of the size of the designs. Again, you do need a mega hoop for these. So if you do have one of those mega magnetic hoops, that would be perfect. Or, ask for one of those for the holidays, just saying. So here we have a pumpkin pie. So cute. Thankful. I'll show you all of these. This is, of course, the turkey. These are all part of a set at Designs by Juju. And you can use our beautiful 30 weight poly sparkle thread for these because can you see how long these stitches are? So they're farther apart, which means you can use a heavier weight thread because there's room for that thread. There's no satin stitch fill stitches. These are outline quilting designs. So perfect for that hint of sparkle from the poly sparkle thread. Let's see what else I have. That's the turkey. Oh, this one's really pretty. I love how the burgundy really pops off of this otherwise plain fabric. And then I have the 2 hanging behind me as well. So this is a collection you can grab up, or maybe you just want to grab up one of the designs from Designs by Juju. But here's the deal. So I got a fat quarter pack of these great neutral solid color fabrics. You also need some batting, and then you need a cute little Thanksgiving print for your borders and the backing of your placemat. If you want to do more of a quilt as you go construction for these so that you see the design on the back side of your placemat as well, then you can also add some binding to your placemats. You can also sew these together, create a longer table runner for your festive Thanksgiving feast. But here is the fall poly sparkle thread sampler. So if you are grabbing up your holiday Felty pack, your holiday 50 weight cotton thread pack, you might want to also grab up either the fall poly sparkle pack shown here, or we also have a classic Christmas poly sparkler poly sparkle 6-pack. Whew. Did I get it? Thank you. 6 of these great Polysparkle thread colors. So Polysparkle is made of polyester thread with a strand of Sulky hollow shimmer running through it. It's very easy to sew. It's a 30 weight thread, so a little bit thicker, right? A lot bit thicker than that 50 weight cotton I was showing you. And you'll get silvers, golds, burgundies, red, green, all those great holiday colors. Or you could go with the fall assortment, which also has those greens, but brings in the browns and the oranges and the burgundies. All right, so we've got some samplers. Of course, you can also grab up single spools, but it's really economical to grab up a sampler because you almost get like a spool for free or something like that when you grab up a 6-pack or a 12-pack sampler. You get the idea. All right, so these beautiful threads are what we're going to use for these quilting designs. And when you use Polysparkle in the needle, great idea to use a lighter weight thread in the bobbin. So if you're not going to do a quilt as you go method, meaning you would see the design on the back side. See, I just have a plain fabric piece backing mine because I did a quick flip and turn method for my placemats. But if you do want to do more of a quilt as you go and add binding to your placemats, then I would choose a 50 weight cotton that matches the fabric print for the back side of this. Or you could also use a 40 weight poly deco, or you could also use the Polysparkle in the bobbin. I know. And then you'd have sparkly stitching on the back side of your placemat too. They'd be reversible, really. Okay, so Polysparkle. I do slow down the machine just a touch, but I don't have to go all the way down to the lowest speed setting like I would have to if I was using all hollow shimmer or a Sulky original metallic that's really all metallic thread, because this is blended with polyester, so it really behaves so nicely for machine embroidery and high-speed sewing. So with this, also a great idea to use a magnetic hoop, because we do want to embroider through a layer of batting to give it a little bit of puffiness. It's not like a full trapunto effect where that batting would come through those negative spaces and really pop out, but it is giving a little bit of plush factor to it. So we are going to embroider through our fabric and batting and a layer of soft and sheer stabilizer. So if you cannot get that in your hoop, you will want to do hoopless embroidery methods where you're hooping your stabilizer and then floating your batting and fabric over the top, or you can sandwich everything in a magnetic hoop. So here is adding those border pieces again with a layer of batting attached. So we're essentially quilting this with the batting already attached. So in this way of doing it, or this method, you could quilt as you go, meaning this border piece that we're adding that has batting attached, you'd put your backing fabric on the wrong side, sew that seam, and then fold those both to the right side, enclosing that seam allowance with both finished fabrics showing on the outside. Or you can piece this together and add just one backing piece of fabric. So this whole tutorial is also on the Sulky blog. You can get the dimensions for the placemat, the technique and the method for adding these borders and backing pieces, everything that you need, as well as links to this great design collection from Designs by Juju, which is also linked in the description of today's post. All right, so we're going to sew our border pieces, add our backing fabrics. I also like to add a little bit of top stitching along that border piece because we've added that batting to it and we want it to lay down flat. We don't want it puffing up. Here's our seam allowance as we're eating our Thanksgiving dinner, right? So we're just going to top stitch that down so everything lays nice and flat. All right, then you would trim this up to your placemat size if needed. You can add additional quilting to this before or after you add your backing fabric piece. And then you have your beautiful finished placemat set. really love adding some borders to a center focal point embroidery. And, you can choose a really cute Thanksgiving print or go a little bit more just fall with it with, some pumpkins or something like this. Or even some more solid fabrics would look really pretty on those placemats too. So I hope that inspires you as you head into Thanksgiving next week. Might need a new placemat set or a table runner if you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner. And if you're not hosting, maybe make a trivet or something like this for the person that's hosting so that you can gift them something as you walk in the door to enjoy the feast that is ahead of you. Susie Q says you could put a silverware pocket on it also. Absolutely. And yes, Melanie says use borders that match your decor. Of course. That's why I love sewing, is because we can personalize it however we need. Cindy says, I see me making some for all the holidays. Yes, that is a great idea. You could use that Christmas or holiday Poly Sparkle sampler and create some holiday motifs inside of the placemats. Swap them out for every holiday or season. Denise is saying, where is the blog? So it's blog.sulky.com. And if you want to be taken directly to the Thanksgiving blog post, you can either search Thanksgiving placemats and it'll come up there for you, or you can head directly to that post by using the link that I put in today's description. All right. And again, if you're not seeing the whole description for today's live stream, click on that little button that says see more, or it might just say more depending on where you're watching from. And then that whole description will pop out and you can link on over or click on over to all the things that I've been talking about today. All right, let's see. Mary Lou says, I love the Poly Sparkle. It is just so pretty. I know. What size needle do you use? Great question. So when you're using a 30 weight thread, like the Poly Sparkle or our 30 weight cotton that I was showing you a little bit ago, you want to use a 90-14 needle. So if you're doing embroidery, you want that 90-14 embroidery needle. You can go up to a 90-14 top stitch needle as well when you're working with metallics. For the Poly Sparkle, I've had great success just using a regular embroidery needle in that 90-14 size. Thank you for asking that. Love that question. All right. Joan says, I have these designs. Need to get busy. All right. Love that. And yes, there are great fall colors in the Poly Sparkle. There are a lot of Poly Sparkle samplers. We have a gold sampler with 6 different shades of gold with different metallic flecks in them, a silver sampler, the classic Christmas, the fall. You get the idea. There's even a sampler. I think it's called Luck of the Irish or something like this. That's all greens and golds for St. Patrick's Day. And that would be a really great one for Christmas as well. If you're doing, a tree quilt or something like that, you'll get all the greens and golds in that sampler. So check that out at sulky.com for sure. Let's see, beautiful embroidery. I love those designs. Yes. Oh, Susie Q says, I remember these. They worked great to keep the kiddos busy with fabric crayons. That is such a cute idea. You could stitch out these quilting designs because they're just line art designs. Stitch them out on a piece of muslin even and put it at the kids' table with some fabric markers, and everybody gets to color in their embroidered piece. And then maybe next year you finish that and it becomes their placemat. Love that idea. Love it. Keeping them busy and also creating a family heirloom. Love it, love it, love it. Great idea. All right. Sharon says, I made these placemats probably a year or so ago and they're on my table right now. Love that. Love it, Sharon. Snap a pic and post it on our Sulky Stitch and Post page on Facebook. That's our Facebook group. If you haven't joined, go on over and join. Put a request in there to join our Sulky Facebook group. I would love to see your Thanksgiving table with these placemats on it. Perfect. Dinah says, hi, Dinah. Hey, girl. Love the poly sparkle, have multiple colors, and they all stitch up perfectly. Oh, great to see you. I miss your face, and I hope you're going to be joining me on another craft tours trip because I would love to hang out and catch up and all the things. All right. Marcia says, you always have such great ideas and suggestions. Love them. Thank you, Marcia. And thank you all for joining me today on So What. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. We'll be that much closer to Thanksgiving, and we can chat about another great holiday project I'm going to share with you that will keep you busy the day after Thanksgiving, the weekend after Thanksgiving, and, whenever you need to get creative. I appreciate that you come here to Sulky, and I'll see you next week on another So